What's up out there to my fellow gold diggers? Welcome back. It is time for part two of our money videos that I had promised you guys. Okay, so welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I know you like that. All right, y'all, let me get serious. Y'all, random songs be popping up in my head when I say certain words. But anyway, welcome back. It is time for part two. I promised you guys that I was going to do a couple of recorded videos before the end of the month hit, and here I am. That's what I'm doing. Now, today we are going to be talking about is your bank account robbing you blind, okay? And what you need to be doing instead. Now, if you are new to my channel, welcome. I am so glad to have you. But if you are a fellow gold digger and you have been rocking with me, then welcome back. You know I like that. Let me stop again. All right, so welcome back, y'all. And I gotta say thank you so much to everyone who has been supporting my channel. We just recently hit 6,000 subscribers. So I'm very, very excited about that, very happy about that, and I don't take it lightly for anyone who has clicked that subscribe button and tuned into my channel, who has liked my video, shared my video. I really am truly, truly appreciative of it. Y'all have no idea how appreciative I am of it. So thank you so much. And if you're watching now and you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. Stick around for a while because we got a lot of good things going on. But today, let's go ahead and talk about how your bank account might be robbing you blind and what you can do instead. So the main topic for today is we're going to be talking about high yield savings accounts. And I was not aware of how many people were not familiar with what a high yield savings account is. I've had a few people message me about it, about getting, I won't say getting started, but trying to get more information about high yield savings accounts. So I figured I would just go ahead and create a video about it for you guys. Okay. So if you have a traditional savings account where you're getting like 0.01%, like you ain't even getting a penny, okay, from having your money in there, then you definitely need to tune into this so you can find out how you can 10x that money that you're getting in your savings account and start letting your money work a little bit harder for you. Okay, it's not gonna be, you ain't gonna get rich off of this, but you definitely gonna get more than a percentage of a penny, okay, like you would in your traditional bank accounts. All right, so let's stick to the topic at hand. I am going to be following my notes so we can get in and out of this video in a timely fashion. All right. So, what exactly is a high yield savings account? Basically, it is like a regular savings account, but I say it's like on steroids. So, the reason why it's called high yield is because it usually has a higher percentage rate. It doesn't have that measly, that insulting 0.01 or 0.001% that most traditional banks have. And currently, right now, you can probably find a high yield savings account with a percentage rate anywhere from like 3 to 4%. That's what, and maybe even up to 5%. But I would say right about now, at the time that this video is airing, because interest rates will change, but you want to get one that's around anywhere from about 3 to 4%. You should be looking for, okay. So it's going to give you more interest back than your traditional bank accounts. So with the traditional bank accounts, let's say if you had $1,000 in there, you might at the end of the year get $10 back. Maybe you probably ain't even gonna get that though, but but let's just say hypothetically, you might get $10 back, or maybe $2 back or something like that. It's gonna be something really, really small. Versus with the high yield savings account, you can get like $40, $50 back. And I'm using $1,000, and I have not done the math on this, but you are definitely going to get more return on your money with the high yield savings account. Okay. And with these accounts, most of them, the reason why you may not have heard about them is because most of them are online. So if you're used to having a brick and mortar bank, which is like a physical location, Yeah, you're not going to see them. They are mainly online banks. But because they are online, before you be like, hold up now, I need to see where my money's at. I know how some people are like, I need to see, I need to know that this is legit, this is a real deal thing. Um, but the reason why they're able to offer you these higher interest rates on your money is because they don't have as much overhead costs, or they don't have the same overhead costs as a physical brick and mortar bank, since they are online. So this lowers their overhead, and that means that they can pass these savings on to their customers who are using their bank. Okay. Now, I like to use the high yield savings account. These are great for you to keep your emergency fund in. We also talked about sinking funds. This is another good way to put those funds. You can put those sinking funds into a high yield savings account. Or if you have any big savings goals where you're trying to save up money, it's best to put it into a high yield savings account instead of your traditional bank, so you can help your money grow in peace, and also it helps you not touch it as often. Okay, so yeah, look into it and look and see what kind of interest rate you can get at right about now. I haven't really looked recently, but I know, especially around COVID time, the interest rates had gone up. I won't say a good bit, but they had gone up significantly compared to what they were, and they've gone down a little bit, but most of them you should be able to find between 3 to 4%. And some examples of online savings accounts that you can find are Ally. That is one of the ones that I use. Capital One 360. That's another one that I use. Discover. Discover Bank, not the Discover credit card. I ain't telling you go out there and get no Discover credit card. Okay. Please hear me. But the Discover Bank, they also have high yield savings account. And another one that I use is Synchrony. Now, Synchrony is also associated with credit cards, more so like store credit cards as well. But you want to go to the Synchrony bank account, and get an online savings account from those places. Now, when you are looking to choose your particular high yield savings account, here are the things that I want you to look at when it comes to choosing the best one for you, and the one that is going to make the most financial sense to you as well. Because like I said, the whole purpose is so you can get a little bit of interest on your money, so you can get a little bit more bang for your buck. So the things I want you to look for when you're choosing your high yield savings account is, of course, number one, look for that high APY. That's what you're looking for. And that's the annual percentage yield, or the interest rate, so to speak. So you want it to have a high APY. Okay. So if you're comparing a few different ones, make sure, is choose the one with the highest one. Okay. Also, make sure you're choosing the ones that do not have any monthly fees. Okay. So none of the ones that I'm using do I have any monthly fees associated with it. So there's no charges for me. Also, you want to see if they are FDIC insured, or if it's through a credit union, then you want to look and make sure that they have NCUA insurance. Okay. Most of these banks are going to be the legitimate banks, okay, are going to be FDIC insured. And if it's a credit union, they're not going to have FDIC since it's a credit union, but you want to look for the NCUA insurance. Okay. Also, when it comes to choosing these high yield savings accounts, you want to avoid any that require you to have a minimum balance. Okay. So that's another great thing. You know how your traditional banks, they're like, okay, you need to have a minimum balance, or you need to deposit a certain amount into the account. Like, they have these different stipulations in order for you to keep the account without getting charged fees. These online accounts, online high yield savings accounts, they usually don't have these stipulations. So most of them don't have a minimum balance. So with that being said, like, literally you can open up this account with like $5, like, and you don't have to maintain it. Now, you want it to grow because you make more interest and stuff, or you make more money with the interest when you have more money in there, but they do not require a minimum. Most of them do not require, none of the ones I've encountered have required a minimum balance for you. So if you're like, I don't have enough money, because I know there are regular brick and mortar accounts, brick and mortar banks and stuff, and they're like, okay, in order to open up this account, maybe they'll say you only need $10 to open up this account, but they're like, within 3 months you need to maintain $500 in this particular account, otherwise you will start incurring fees. That is not the case for them. Okay. For most of these high yield savings account, there's no minimum requirement for you to open the account or for the account to be maintained. Okay, so if you open it with $10 and 3 months later all you have is that same $10, they're not going to start charging you fees for it. Now you want to get more money in there because that's the whole purpose, but yeah, they won't charge you fees. The other thing I want you to look at is see what the withdrawal policy is. Make sure it doesn't take a long time for you to withdraw your money. Like with Ally, I know I can get the money within 1 day. With Synchrony, it does take a little bit longer. It usually takes 3 days for me to get the money from Synchrony. Now, Capital One, I have not had to withdraw any money from that particular account. That account, I just keep feeding and feeding and feeding, and I've never really. It's more of a like a backup emergency account for me, so I haven't really had to withdraw any money out of it. So I don't even know how long it would take for me to get the money out of there, but I'm pretty sure it's probably anywhere from 1 to 3 business days for me to do that. So you don't want it to be too lengthy of a time for you to get your money, but you do want it to be a little bit of friction in between you getting your money, like, because that way it'll cause you to pause and think, like, is this really an emergency, or am I really using this money or getting this money for the objective that I originally set the account up for? Okay. So part of the reason I set up some of these high yield savings accounts is because I would not have as easy of access to my money. I wanted to have a little bit of friction in between me getting the money in my hands so that I can make sure that I am using the money or the funds for what I originally designated it for. Okay. So, but you don't want it to be like a week process or something like that, or too long for you to be able to get the money. Because if a true emergency comes up, you do want to be able to get access your money in a relatively short period of time. Okay. So please keep that in mind as well. And then just make sure that the online banking system that they're using, you want to make sure it's user friendly. So you want to make sure that you're able to navigate it, make sure you can easily find the information that you need. And most of the ones that I've used, they are pretty user friendly. Like, it's not hard for you to navigate their online system, to find out where your money is, how much interest is accumulating, what is growing from month to month, and from that standpoint. Okay. But you do want to be able to easily track your money without having, to jump through all these different hoops or try and see what's going on. All right. Now, if you want to use these high yield savings accounts strategically, here are a few little tips that I'm going to share. I would recommend you automate your transfers or your savings to these accounts. So even if it's $10 a week, or $25 a week, or $25 a month, these little amounts will add up. So if once you set up these accounts, go ahead and automate a certain amount of money come into it weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, so that you can start building up some cash and start accumulating more and more interest. Okay. Also, please keep it separate from your regular checking account so you're not tempted to dip in. Now, with the savings account too, please keep in mind the banks regulate savings accounts differently. So there's only a certain amount of withdrawals you can do anyway from a savings account, because then otherwise you need a checking account. And so these are high yield savings accounts, not checking accounts, even though they do have high yield checking accounts where the interest is not as high. But with the savings account, you are limited on the number of withdrawals you can do within a month. I want to say for most of the accounts, it's like 6 withdrawals. Okay. So you don't want to be tempted. You don't want it to have easy access to your checking account. So like if you're short on your regular money, you don't want to be able to just easily dip into it. Okay. Um, and as I suggested at the beginning of the video, try and use it for things like your emergency fund or vacation fund, or any big or long-term savings goals that you might have, because it really helps you to keep the money out of sight, out of mind, and it's growing in the background as you're contributing to it on a regular basis. Okay. So when you set it and forget it, especially those automatic deposits into it, and let me also clarify, I'm going to back up a little bit. So I told you they're limited on how many withdrawals you can do. There's no limit in how many deposits you can make into the account. Okay. All right. So please bear those things in mind. And just let me head off any concerns some people might have. If you're thinking, oh, I don't know about this is too risky, it's online. No, pretty much the real deal ones. All of the ones that I mentioned, they are FDIC insured, just like your regular bank. Okay, so you can trust it with your money. Okay, and also if you're like, well, even though I'm getting 3% interest, 4% interest, that doesn't really seem like a whole lot. It's not a big deal for me to save this money. Yo, it is a big deal, especially considering you're getting like less than a percentage point already from your regular bank. So if you can get something where you are at least getting 3 to 4%, you will see when that money starts accumulating, you're like, oh, this is looking rather nice. Okay. All right. You want your money to work for you so that you're not working so hard for it. So if your money is sitting in a bank account chilling, it should be doing some work. And that means it should be growing. All right. And that's what we want you to do. All right. So that's pretty much what I have for you today. If you guys have any additional questions about high yield savings accounts, or if you might want me to compare the current options that might be available today in another video, then please let me know in the comment section so I can see what I can do to try and get that together for me. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who might can benefit from this information. All right, because get you a high yield savings account so your money can start collecting interest instead of collecting dust from these dusty traditional bank accounts. All right, that's all I have for now. Take care, guys.